Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to NFL Week 4 here on 8 Ball Sports. I did have a college football week 4 prediction for college football, but I couldn't upload. I couldn't really get a time, and then by the time I could upload it, it happened to be Saturday, and the games had already started. I'm gonna quickly fix the camera, but the games had already started, and I felt like you guys or anyone could be like, if I make some crazy prediction that some upset, that you guys could say I watched the game and then upload it on that day, which I think you could find proof that I didn't, but it doesn't matter that much. I should come out with one tomorrow, but I am going camping where there's no Wi-Fi, so I'm going to have to upload it early in the morning. And if I can't do that, then there won't be a college football predictions video tomorrow either. But hey, so why I do NFL on Wednesdays are because obviously there's a Thursday night game tomorrow, and so I want to get it done before the Thursday night game. By the way, Freddie Freeman just extended his hitting streak to 30 games. Tell me in the comments, does that count if he keeps it going to the end of the year? Obviously the Braves aren't making the playoffs. Does it keep going at the beginning of next year? I think it does in the video game. I know it does, but I don't actually know if that happens in real life or not. So can you tell me that in the comments? So NFL Week 4, a lot of good games this week. A bunch of teams that are hopefully going to get their first win. A bunch of teams, or not a bunch of teams, but a few teams looking to remain undefeated. So let's just hop right into the Thursday night game, Dolphins versus Bengals. I think this one's going to be pretty easy pick here. Bengals are going to win this game. They lost the Broncos last week. The Dolphins barely beat the Browns, but the Bengals are just the better team. I mean, fairly simple pick in my opinion. Panthers, Falcons. Panthers coming off a nice tough loss. I don't know how the loss is nice, but to the Vikings. The Falcons coming off a nice win over the Saints, but it's the Saints defense. Panthers are obviously much better. Don't think Matt Ryan's going to have as much success, and I do believe that the Panthers offense is going to have a good amount of success against this okay Falcons defense. So Panthers winning that one. Seahawks versus the Jets. I had the Seahawks winning this one just because of Ryan Fitzpatrick's terrible week last week. I had him in one of my fantasy teams, which I still won, so I wasn't too angry, but -1 points because when you throw 6 interceptions, I don't even know if he's going to start this next week. I may have to go look for a quarterback if I get an alert early Sunday morning that they're starting. Do they still have Geno Smith? If they're starting Geno Smith or whoever their backup quarterback is. But yeah, Seahawks defense is even better than the Chiefs. I mean, the Seahawks secondary is better than the Chiefs in my opinion, with Richard Sherman, Earl Thomas, Cam Chancellor. There's a reason they're called the Legion of Doom. Where's the Legion of Boom? I don't know. I'm sorry. Titans versus Texans, kind of an upset pick here. Obviously, I'm a Titans fan, but I'm going with the Titans here. You could, obviously say that's a little bit biased, but I think there's a good amount of reason here for it. Last week versus the Patriots, the LeGarrette Blount ran all over this Texans defense with J.J. Watt. J.J. Watt got placed on the injury reserve today, so no J.J. Watt. DeMarco Murray, Derrick Henry, they're just going to run through this team, I think. We're not going to ask Mariota to do too much. And the Texans' offense has not looked that good this season. And the Titans' defense has actually kind of surprised some people and looked decent, holding the top offense last week in the Raiders to only 17 points. So, I don't know. I the Titans kind of an upset pick, and I think how bad every team in the Titans division is doing right now. They still have a chance to maybe win it. I don't think it's very high, but hey. Bills versus Patriots. Fairly simple pick here too. Patriots. I don't care who their quarterback is. Bill Belichick is the best coach in the NFL now, and he has a good amount of, I was going to say reason why you could call him the best coach in the history of the NFL over Lombardi and others. Broncos versus the Bucks. My handwriting was a little messy there. Broncos, Buccaneers have not looked good. They lost last week to the Rams. That says enough. Now you're going up against the best defense in the NFL. Still, even though they haven't looked great, they've looked still like the best defense. I mean, they had 2 defensive touchdowns against the Colts the other week. So I'm sorry, I rock a lot in this. I'm realizing it too. And Trevor Siemian absolutely went off last week against a pretty good Bengals defense. So, Cowboys, 49ers. I have the Cowboys in this one. 49ers losing to the Seahawks. I just don't see the 49ers defense stopping Ezekiel Elliott and Dak Prescott. I think they might slow them down, but they're not going to like shut them out. And I don't think Blaine Gabbert, Colin Kaepernick, whoever the 49ers quarterback is, either one of them is going to get it done. Whoever it is, the Cowboys defense has actually looked decent this year too. So, Giants versus the Vikings. I have the Vikings in this one just because it kind of same situation as the Patriots. Honestly, I think Sam Bradford's obviously better than Brissett, or whatever his name. No, whatever his name was that started for the Patriots against the Texans. But the Vikings defense is carrying that team as well, and they have a decent quarterback in Bradford as long as he stays healthy. I think that's all you can really ask. Their defense is carrying them through these games, and it's kind of looking like the Broncos last year, honestly. If they can keep this pace up, I'm going to see them in the Super Bowl against the Broncos probably, but or maybe the Patriots. You don't know. Colts versus Jaguars. I had the Jags picking up their first victory of the season. I had them winning last week, and they let me down against the Ravens. But the Colts, I don't know. The Colts beat the Chargers last week. I still feel like the Jaguars are at least going to get it going. The Colts defense isn't good. It's not terrible, but it isn't good. Colts offense has had some trouble this season. I mean, they have played the Broncos, but they played the Chargers last week, and they didn't look great. They T.Y. Hilton had like a bunch of catches at the end of the game. That one big bomb to him. So I think the Jaguars are going to get their first victory in that matchup. The Browns versus the Redskins. Well, you don't ever go with the Browns, so you go with the team against them. Redskins picking up a victory over the Giants, which is one I did predict right last week. They look pretty good, and the Browns haven't. Terrell Pryor did go off, but as an Ohio State fan, that made me happy to see, kind of, because, kind of did get us suspended, but it's okay. Anyway, he went off, had him in fantasy. That was nice. But the Redskins going to win. I mean, it's going to be Josh Norman versus Terrell Pryor. That's sad if Terrell Pryor's number one, because he hasn't been a receiver for as long as these few kids have. I say kids, I'm younger than them, but these people, these men have since they were my age. And he's turned into a receiver in the past 2 years, and he's their number one now because Corey Coleman hurt himself. Sorry, that was kind of a weird rant. Raiders versus the Ravens. Got the Raiders. Their higher-powered offense. Their defense did pretty good against, obviously, a pretty weak Tennessee Titans offense. But, I mean, I don't think we're that weak. I say we as the Titans. The Raiders are going to win. I think they're going to stop the Ravens. The Ravens haven't really looked... Look at the Ravens' schedule. They won by 6 over a Bills team that started the season 0-2. They did win up against the Cardinals last week, but still, I mean, at week 1, Ravens win by 6, 13-7, defensive battle. Week 2... Who did they play week 2? They played the Browns week 2. They got to a very, very bad start, just made the comeback. And then last week they played the Jaguars, who are also an 0-3 team. They played a 1-2 team, an 0-3 team, an 0-3 team. They're finally getting their first test here on a 2-1 team with possibly the best offense. I would even go out to say possibly the best quarterback-receiver duo. I mean, obviously you have Big Ben and Antonio Brown. You have Odell Beckham Jr. and Eli Manning, but I think Derek Carr and Amari Cooper are up there. And they have good team around them, nice young players, and their defense has been decent. I say decent. They were not good the first 2 weeks, but they were decent last week, so we'll see how they can do against a Ravens team. Lions versus the Bears. Lions. Yeah, Matthew Stafford's okay. He can throw. He throws hard. But, I mean, the real reason I have them winning is because just how bad the Bears are. Saints, Chargers. How are the Saints getting their first win? You could call this an upset pick here, but without Danny Woodhead, without Keenan Allen, I think I said it last week, the Chargers, that's the reason the Chargers weren't going to win. They almost did win, but I mean, I just don't know who they're going to go to in those situations, because I don't think Melvin Gordon is that good of a running back. I mean, he's okay. I don't think has he had a 100-yard rushing game yet? I don't think so. He didn't have a touchdown all of last season. I mean, Phillip Rivers is a good quarterback. He can throw the ball, but he doesn't really have anyone to throw the ball to anymore because he lost Keenan Allen. He has Antonio Gates, but he's obviously getting older, so I was going to try to keep this video under 10 minutes, but that's not going to happen. Rams, Cardinals. Rams did win, but they were also playing the Buccaneers, who I thought would win, but they didn't. They let me down. Cardinals, though, they did lose to the Bills last week, but they looked really dominant in their win over the Buccaneers 2 weeks ago. So obviously the Rams beat the Buccaneers, so it's kind of the two teams that have beaten the Buccaneers. We'll see how they can do. I think the Cardinals are going to win that one pretty handily. Probably I would say this is the best matchup of the week. The Chiefs versus the Steelers, both 2-1 teams. The Chiefs coming out making a statement last week with 6 interceptions, held the Jets' offense to 3 points. Their offense, I mean, their offense has never been anything special. The Chiefs have always been one of those teams. They're satisfied with Alex Smith, who's just a game. I'm blanking on what they could call him. A game manager. He just makes short little passes. He hands the ball off a lot, and they're kind of a ground and pound team. They're gonna dink and dunk down the field, and it's been pretty successful. They was successful last week. They put out 24 points. The Steelers got blown out by Carson Wentz. Do the Eagles not play this week? I guess they don't. I don't think I missed that. So they got blown out last week, and I just think the Chiefs' defense is going to be able to stop the Steelers' offense. I mean, I think Antonio Brown, he still had good stats against the Eagles. I think he'll still have good stats against the Chiefs here, but just not good enough to win the game. And I think the Chiefs' offense will do just enough. So those are my Week 4 predictions. Hope you guys did enjoy those. Be sure to answer that question on the Freddie Freeman hitting streak thing, because I'm not entirely positive on that. Tell me your predictions in the comment section down below. Quick thing, last week I was 9-7 in my predictions. I'll hold up a little sheet of paper here where I write down my predictions. It says 9-7, that little circled area right there. I did calculate them right. If you want to go back and watch the video, and you can write down who I picked to win and then check it yourself. But 9-7, so I'm gonna keep track of it. I am starting in week. I started in week 3, so obviously I'm gonna be a little behind. But let's hope we can get a winning, a winning record each week. So I will see you guys later. Be sure to subscribe.